Google's I/O 2026 keynote sold WebMCP as the headline. I plugged all free announcements into a live invoicing onboarding funnel and ran 18 real small business signups through it. WebMCP made things worse. If you're a founder trying to get non-technical users from sign-up to first working action, you already know OAuth is where they die. I'll show you the exact drop-off numbers per update, which one shortened time to first invoice to 3 minutes 10, and which one Google spent the most stage time on that I killed by Tuesday. I'm Lazar. I ship this stuff into production for SMB clients. Let's start with the baseline nobody at I/O talked about. The baseline before I touched anything, median onboarding time was 8 minutes 40 seconds, from clicking sign up to seeing the first passed invoice on screen. 34% of users dropped at the Gmail OAuth screen. That's the funnel every SMB automation lives or dies on. Non-technical shop owners see a Google permission dialog listing 5 scopes, and half of them close the tab. I've rebuilt this onboarding 3 times and 34% was the floor I couldn't crack. Then all 2026 drops 3 announcements that all claim to fix pieces of exactly this problem. So I tested them. Same funnel, same sign-up form, same client base of Serbian small businesses. 18 fresh signups per variant over 10 days. Update 1. WebMCP. This was the headline. Google framed it as letting web apps expose tools to any AI agent through a standardized permission model. On paper, gorgeous. In practice, it adds a second permission prompt on top of the Gmail OAuth one. Users now see Google's OAuth dialog, then a WebMCP capability prompt asking them to grant tool access to an agent they've never heard of. Drop-off jumped from 34% to 41%. Median time went up to 9 minutes 15, because the users who did click through spent 40 extra seconds reading the second prompt. I killed it after 12 signups. It's a great primitive for developer tools. It is poison for consumer onboarding. Update 2. Built-in AI with Gemini Nano running in the browser. This one I liked more than the numbers deserved. I moved the invoice field extraction, vendor name, amount, VAT, date, from a server-side Claude Gemini Nano running client-side. Parsing step got faster by 1 minute 20 on average because there's no network round trip. Cost per parse went to 0. But 2 problems. It only works on Chrome desktop with the flag on, which is about 60% of my user base. The other 40% fall back to the server path, which means I now maintain 2 extraction pipelines. And the Nano model quietly failed on Cyrillic vendor names about 11% of the time, silently returning empty strings instead of erroring. So I ship it as a progressive enhancement, not a default. Nice to have, not the winner. Update 3, skills in Chrome. This was the boring announcement. 3 slides, no demo video, buried in the developer keynote. Skills lets you register a declarative manifest that Chrome uses to pre-fill OAuth consent, form fields, and repeated data across sites the user has already authorized. I wrote a skills manifest for the onboarding flow. Chrome now recognizes the user's Google identity from a previous session, pre-authorizes the Gmail scopes without showing the full consent screen, and pre-fills the business name and tax ID from Chrome's autofill store. Median onboarding time dropped to 3 minutes, 10. Drop-off at the OAuth step fell from 34 to 19%. Drop-off at the OAuth step fell from 34 to 19%. That's the lowest number I've ever seen on this funnel, the sleeper one. So the verdict: shipping to production Monday, skills is the default path for Chrome users, which is most of them. Built-in AI is a progressive enhancement for the parsing step where it works. WebMCP is off. I'll revisit it when the second prompt UX gets fixed, probably not this year. The bigger lesson for anyone building onboarding funnels: The announcement with the biggest stage time is optimized for developer excitement, not conversion. Measure everything on your own funnel with your own users before you believe the keynote. If you want the exact skills manifest and the funnel measurement setup I use to get these numbers, we publish the full onboarding teardown at BizflowAI.io. It's the same flow we ship for client automations. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next I/O teardown finds you. And if you have an onboarding funnel bleeding users at OAuth, first action, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io, and we'll map where the drop-off actually is.